All right, welcome back, my seventh graders. Let's go ahead and get started. It says simplify the expression. Write your answers as a power. All right, this one here we were working on earlier this week. We remember we have 10 to the 8th over 10 to the 4. This is really 10 to the 8 minus 4. And that's going to give us 10 to the 4th power. All right. Number 3, we realize we're multiplying numbers together. This is 3 times 3 to the 8 times 3 to the 3rd. This is equal to 3 to the 8 plus 3 over 3 to the 2. We know 8 plus 3 is 11, so this is going to be 3 to the 11th over 3 to the 2. And we know this is going to be equal to 11 minus 2, so this would be 3 to the 9th power. All right, let's go on to number 5. Find the greatest common factor. Greatest common factor, you have to see what number goes into both of these that is the biggest. So if I look to 12, I know that 12 can be found by multiplying 3 times 4. And 4 can be found by taking 2 times 2. So the factors of 12 are 3 times 2 times 2. Now when we're doing 30, we realize 30 is 3 times 10, and 10 is 2 times 5. Sorry, I had to sneeze, and I didn't want to do that while I was on the microphone. Now we look at the greatest common factors. We're going to circle the things that are alike. The 3s are alike. The 2s, they're both of them as well, but 2 and 5 aren't. So the greatest common factor would be 3 times 2, which is 6. All right, number 7, we're looking for the greatest common factor of 48 and 72. 48 can be found, let's see, by taking 2 and multiplying it to 24. 24 can be found by taking 2 and multiplying it to 12. 12 can be found by multiplying 2 to 6. 6 can be found by taking 2 and multiplying it to 3. So 48 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. That makes sense? 2 times 3 is 6, times 2 is 12, times 2 is 30. I'm sorry. 6 times 2 is 12, times 2 is 24, times 2 is 48. Now let's do 72. Well, I know 72 can be found by taking 2, let's see, 72 and dividing it by 2. That will give me 2 times, let's see, I'm going to go with 46. 46, no, 36. 36 can be found by taking 2 and multiplying it to 18. 18 can be found by taking 2 and multiplying it to 9. 9 can be found by taking 3 and multiplying it to 3. Let's double check that. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 18 times 2 is 36. 36 times 2 is 72. Now we find the things that are the same in both of them. We have the 2 here. We have another 2 here. We have another 2 here. And we have a 3 over here. So now we multiply them together. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. So the greatest common factor is 24. All right? Let's move on. Let's see, that was number 7. So I have number, I don't know what happened to number 8. Oh, there's number 8. What is the ratio of cats and dogs? All right, number 9 now. Determine which number is greater and which number is farther from 0. All right. determine which number is greater and which number is farther from 0. All right, to do this, we're going to have to go ahead and find the, and we're going to have to put our brackets around here, and that's going to tell us how far everything is from 0. All right, so if I'm doing this, I'm going to take 4, and that's 4 away from 0. Negative 6 is 6 away from 0. So the absolute value of negative 6 is greater than the absolute value of 4. Number 11, we're going to have to put these as decimals or as fractions. I'm going to try, I really ain't got to even try it just by looking at this. I see this is negative 1.3. This is going to be 1 and some extra away from 0. This is only 4/5. So the absolute value of a negative 1.3 is greater, because that's going to be 1.3 from 0, is greater than negative 4/5, because that's not even 1 away from 0. All right, let's go to number 13, find the absolute value. The absolute value of negative 2, well, that's 2 away from 0. Absolute value of 15 is, well, or excuse me, of 10 is 10 away from 0. The absolute value of 17, 1/3, that's 1 divided by 3, right? I could say it's just 1/3, but if I was going to put it as a decimal, I could also say this is 0.3 repeating, right? Next is number 19. Negative 5/9 is actually just 5/9 away from 0. Number 21, 3.8 is 3.8 away from 0. Remember, the absolute value is nothing more than how far this number is away from 0 on the number line. Let's just look at number 13 in case we have some people still have questions about it. If this was 0, and this was negative 2, that was negative 1, there's negative 2, right? This is how far away from 0? 1, 2, and that's why we said 2. Let's go back to number 23. This is going to be 15 over 4 away from 0. Number 25 will be 18.26. You're starting to get the idea here. All we're doing is turning these to positive numbers, right? And this is 5 and 1/6. That's all we're doing. Because distance is something, it's relative, it's something that goes forward. You can't go backwards, right? So these values are going to be all positive numbers. All right, let's go to number 29 here. It says copy and complete the statements using less than, greater than, or equal to, okay? Absolute value of 1 and 8. Remember, this is going to be 1, this is going to be 8, and 8 is definitely bigger, so this is going to be less than 8. Number 31, absolute value of negative 2 is 2. Absolute value of 0 is 0, and 2 is bigger than 0, so this would be greater than. Then we have 33. Normally a positive number would be bigger than a negative number, but there's absolute value, so this would be 4.9, and this would be 5.3. And that means this is going to be less than, because 4.9 is less than 5.3. On this one, we have negative 3/4, which would be 3/4. Negative goes away. But on this one, the negative doesn't go away because it's outside of the brackets. This will still be a negative 3/4. So a positive is definitely bigger than negative. Let's go on to number 37. Your friend computes 2 rational numbers. Is your friend correct? Explain the reasoning. He said negative 10. The absolute value of negative 10 is negative 10. That is absolutely wrong. All right? Because the negative, remember, just like if we explain your reasoning, if we had a number line here, and the 0 is over here, and this is negative 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this would be negative 10 here. The absolute value is how far away it is from 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it would not equal negative 10. All right, 39. Which number has an absolute value that is greater than 3? Absolute value of negative 4 is definitely uh, bigger than 3. Absolute value of negative 2.5 is not greater than 3 because 2.5 is not bigger than 3. C, 2 is not bigger than 3. And D, it does say greater than, not equal to. So the only one that we could pick was A. You're doing number 40. I got number 41 here. It says the freezing point of a liquid is the temperature at which the liquid becomes a solid. Which liquid in the table has the lowest freezing point? The lowest freezing point. Okay, so the lowest freezing point, let's see which liquid on the table has the lowest freezing point. We're looking at numbers that are becoming negative here. So which one has the lowest freezing point, not the greatest freezing? So we're looking for the number with the biggest negative value. That's going to be airplane fuel, right? Airplane fuel. I'm just going to type that in. All right. And it says, is the freezing point of mercury or butter closer to the freezing point of water, which is 0? Talking mercury or butter. Butter has 35. Mercury has negative 39. Negative 39 is farther away from 0 than butter. So we're going to say butter. All right. Let's go ahead and go to number 43 now. 43 says, order the values from least to greatest. We got to find which one of these is the biggest, which one of these the greatest. All right. So the absolute value of negative 6.3 is 6.3. The absolute, oh, this isn't even absolute value. This is negative 7.2. And we have 8 here. We're just taking all these and putting them into rational numbers. Absolute value of 5 is 5. And then we have negative 6.3. So for the least would be the smallest or the biggest negative number, which would be negative 7.2, right? Negative 7.2. That's going to be the least. And the next least would be negative 6.3. The next least is going to be 5. After 5 will be 6.3. Oh, I have to list these. I almost forgot that. So we had 7.2 or negative 7.2, negative 6.3. This should be the absolute value of 5. I apologize for not putting that in there. This should be the absolute value of, let's just erase this one here. This will be negative 6.3 because it will turn into a positive 6.3. And then the last one will be 8. All right, let's look at number 45. 45 has the absolute value of negative 3/4. So that's going to be 3/4. Then we have 5 over 8. Then we have the absolute value of 1/4, which is still going to be 1/4. Then we have negative 1/2. No absolute value sign there. Then we have the absolute value of negative 7 over 8, which would be 7 over 8. All right, it's time to put these in order. Well, we definitely know the negative number is going to come first. So negative 1/2 is going to come first. The next smallest number, we're going to have to take all these denominators, right, and make them into equivalent denominators. So 3/4 is going to be equal to, we can multiply the bottom and top by 2, that'd be 6/8, right? 5/8 is already got an 8 at the bottom. Then we can take 1/4, and this is going to be tricky here. 1/4, I can multiply the top and bottom by 2. This will end up being 2/8. So, oh boy, how can I change this out? I guess this one come over here and be 2/8. All right. So now that I have all the denominators at 8, I can compare these. I have 6/8, 5/8, 2/8, and 7/8. Well, the smallest number is going to be 2/8. So I'm going to go with that one first, 2/8. So that takes care, oh, and actually that was 1/4, not 2/8 when it's written here, right? So I got to change it to 1/4. Actually, it was the absolute value of 1/4. So let's put that there. All right, next, we got rid of the 2/8. The next smallest one is going to be, looks like to me, 5/8, right? So I'm going to have to take 5/8. It never changed, so this would be 5/8. Next would be 6/8, because 6 is less than 7. So 6/8, we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, yeah. 6/8 was actually negative, the absolute value of negative 3/4. And the last one, of course, would be the absolute value of negative 7/8. And that's the order of number 45. Let's go on to 47. Problem solving. The table shows golf scores relative to par. Relative to par. The player with the lowest score wins. Okay? The player with the lowest score is going to win. All right? Which player wins? So we have +5, -4. Let's see, with the lowest score. A -1 and a +2. Right? So remember, the player score relative to par. This one took 5 extra strokes, right? He made it in less than 4 strokes, less than 1 stroke. This person took 2 extra strokes. So the player with the lowest score, is going to be, I think, -4. And -4 is player 3. So we're going to put player 3. Now it says which player is closest to par. Remember, par is when it's 0. So that has to be player 2 because he was right on 0. Then we have which player is farthest from par. Farthest from par would be, I'm thinking 5, right? Because 5 is bigger than all these numbers. That'd be player 1. All right, let's keep going. There's 48. I see 49 here. Dig deeper. Is this my last one? Oh, no. Looks like we got some more after this. All right, dig deeper. Construction company demolishes a brick patio and builds a new one. Trucks deliver and remove bricks from the construction site. Okay. Trucks delivering bricks carry 150 new bricks per truckload. And trucks removing bricks carry 100 bricks per truckload. It says 2 truckloads of brick are removed. Well, since they are removed, that's going to be 2 times 100, right? And 3 truckloads of new brick are delivered. Well, since there's 3 truckloads, that's 3 truckloads of 150. All right. Let's see. Use the expression 2 times negative 100, and that's removing bricks, right? Negative 100, plus 3 times 150. So I guess we're adding these together. They're telling us to use this to find the total number of bricks that are moved. Okay. Remember, this is the absolute value here. So we're going to change these parentheses to absolute value sign. The absolute value of negative 100 or negative 100 is 100. 2 times 100 is 200. And 3 times 150 is 450. And 200 plus 450 is 650. So the number of bricks that were moved were 650 bricks. B says describe a situation where the sum of bricks the company moves and delivers is negative 250. Okay. Let's see, negative 250. So where the sum of bricks the company removes and delivers is 250. Well, let's see. If I was to take one, because I have to show removes and delivers, if I took 1 truckload that was delivered, that's 1 times 150. All right. And now what would I need to do to get negative 250? Well, I guess I've got to take 150 and add it to some number that would get some number that's going to give me negative 250. Okay. All right. When I do this, I know this is going to be 1 times 150, which gives me, right, plus n equals negative 250. I remember that I got to get n by itself, so I'm going to subtract 150, which means I will subtract 150 from over here. N means I need 400, right? 250 plus 150 is 400. Ooh, what am I writing here? N is equal to negative 400, right? And so to get negative 400, I need to have 4 truckloads removing bricks, right? So we can say 4 removing and 1 delivering. All right, let's go to the next one. That was 49. Let's look at 51. And since 52 is yours, this was my last one. The absolute value of every rational number is positive. The absolute value of every rational number is positive. It says determine whether the statement is true or false. And on the surface, you would instantly think, yeah, of course, because I can take any number and turn it into a positive number. But let's not forget the one number on the number line. You can't do that too. And that is 0. You can take any of these numbers over here, any of these numbers over here, and it will be a positive number. But 0 is always 0. So number 51 is false. All right, looks like all the rest of them yours. I hope you have luck going through them. We will solve them in class. See you mañana. Have a good night.